The ceiling fan hummed the same way it always had, steady, calm, completely blind to what was about to shatter. My mother-in-law Diane sat at the head of the dining table I paid for every month. She folded her hands like a judge delivering mercy. "You'll need to move out," she said gently. "My oldest daughter and her husband are ready to start a family. They need the space." I waited for my husband to say something. He didn't. Diane smiled, like eviction was a favor, like I was the obstacle, like none of this was mine. I nodded, even smiled back. "I'll start looking." Inside, something detached cleanly, like a switch flipping off. They had no idea what was coming next. If you've ever been treated like your work, your invisible labor, your quiet contributions didn't count because it wasn't a paycheck, or if you've ever felt erased in your own home while carrying the entire family on your back, hit that like button right now if this hurts in a familiar way. Subscribe if you want more stories where the invisible one finally stops carrying everyone else and watches them feel the weight. Let's dive into how one eviction notice turned into total freedom. My name is Naomi Brooks. I'm 32, childless by choice for now. Apparently, that made me disposable. The house smelled like the lemon cleaner I used every Tuesday morning, the same cleaner I bought in bulk because Diane liked the scent. The dining table was set for 4, even though only 3 of us ever ate there. Diane sat at the head, posture perfect, voice gentle in that practiced way that always carried an edge. Daniel sat beside her, eyes on his phone. I sat across from them, the guest in my own home. "You'll need to move out," Diane said, folding her hands like she was delivering mercy. "My oldest daughter, Rachel, and her husband are ready to start a family. They need the space." I waited. The ceiling fan kept humming. Daniel kept scrolling. No defense, no "we'll talk about this," nothing. Diane leaned closer. "You understand, don't you? It's temporary. You can figure something out." Temporary, like my place in that family had always been. I nodded, even smiled back, the same polite smile I'd used for years. "I'll start looking." Inside, something detached cleanly, like a switch flipping off. No tears, no raised voice, just clarity. That night, I went upstairs and folded laundry with steady hands. Daniel slept beside me like nothing had changed. The next morning, I made coffee, kissed him on the cheek, waited until the front door shut behind him. Then I picked up my phone. "Hi," I said calmly. "I need movers today. Full packing service." By noon, the house sounded different. Drawers opening, packing tape ripping, cardboard sliding across hardwood floors I had paid to refinish the winter before. The movers worked quickly, professional, quiet, the way I had learned to be. As they packed, my mind replayed how all of this started. 2 years earlier, Daniel lost his job. I didn't panic. I stepped up. Marriages bend, I told myself. They don't break. So I covered expenses. First for a month, then another, then everything. Diane framed it as family helping family. Rachel would visit and joke, "Must be nice having a rich sister-in-law." I laughed every time, because the truth was uglier. My income wasn't flashy, just steady consulting contracts, quiet money. Daniel's pride couldn't handle that, so we agreed the bills would come from our account, even though the transfers always came from mine. Over time, I stopped being a wife and became infrastructure. Useful, invisible. Diane loved reminding people that her son was the breadwinner. At family dinners, she'd joke, "Naomi's job is keeping the house pretty." Everyone laughed. I smiled, but inside I was taking mental notes. Because every time someone underestimated you, they showed you exactly who they were. At 3:17 p.m., my phone buzzed. "Diane, we'll talk tonight about timelines. No need to rush." I looked at the movers carrying out the couch she loved so much. Then I typed one word. "Okay." She still thought this was happening on her schedule. That illusion was about to collapse. Daniel came home early. He was still in his work shirt, tie loosened. His footsteps stopped in the hallway. Silence. Then, "Naomi, what is this?" "I'm moving out," I said. He laughed once, sharp, disbelieving. "You're being dramatic. Mom said you had time." There it was. Mom said. Not "we'll talk," not "are you okay?" Just instructions passed down like policy. "You didn't defend me," I said quietly. "Not once." He rubbed his face. "Rachel needs the space. You don't even want kids right now." "So I don't qualify for a home?" I asked. That's not what I meant. But it was exactly what he meant. He followed me downstairs, watching strangers wrap our life in brown paper. When the movers lifted the dining table, he froze. "Wait, why are they taking that?" I paused, finally letting something crack through. "Because I bought it. Like most things here." He stared at me. "What do you mean, most?" I opened my banking app and held it between us. Not angry, not shaking, just factual. His face drained slowly. "You paid for all this?" I gave a faint smile. "You never asked." Upstairs, the front door opened. Diane walked in smiling. Then she saw the empty living room. Her smile twitched. "What's going on?" "I'm moving out today," I said. "That's unnecessary. We said you had time." "We?" I asked softly. "Funny, I don't remember agreeing." She scoffed. "Don't be childish. You're upset. We'll talk after dinner." Then she saw the movers carrying the couch. "Stop them," she snapped. The mover looked at me. I nodded. They kept going. Diane turned to me, voice sharp. "You can't take things that belong to this house." I pulled a folder from my bag. Neat, tabbed, organized. Receipts, transfers, 2 years of quiet payments. "These belong to me," I said. "Legally." Her face went pale. Rachel arrived minutes later. She looked around the empty room and laughed nervously. "Is this a joke?" "No," I said. "You're getting the house." She blinked. "Then why is it empty?" "Because the house wasn't being handed over. It was being stripped down to the truth. And the truth had my name on it." That night, I slept in a quiet hotel across town. For the first time in years, I slept deeply. Not because it didn't hurt, but because the pain finally had direction. The next morning, I called my accountant, then my lawyer. Calm conversations, clear numbers. I stopped paying the utilities, paused the subscriptions, froze the shared account Daniel barely checked. By noon, he was calling nonstop. "We need to talk. Mom is upset. This is getting out of hand." I didn't answer. Instead, I emailed Diane a polite notice. Effective immediately, I would no longer be funding a residence I had been asked to vacate. No insults, just consequences. They thought removing me would create space. They had no idea how expensive my absence was about to become. By the third day, the house started unraveling. Electricity first, then internet, then security services, even the gardener Diane loved bragging about. Daniel came to my hotel furious. "You're humiliating us," he hissed. "My sister is crying. Mom doesn't understand what's happening." I kept my voice calm. I was told to leave. I did. "You're punishing everyone." "No," I said. "I'm just not supporting people who decided I didn't belong." Then I slid one more envelope across the table. My lawyer's letter. Itemized contributions. Proof. His hands trembled. "You planned this." "No," I said. "You forced it." A week later, my lawyer called again. During the financial review, something surfaced. Several renovations and payments had been made in my name for tax purposes. At the time, Diane had waved it off. Paperwork doesn't matter. It did. Legally, a portion of the house was partially mine. When the notice arrived, Diane didn't scream. She didn't threaten. She went silent. The kind of silence that happens when power realizes it's gone. They sold the house quietly to cover debts. Rachel moved somewhere smaller. Diane stopped hosting family dinners. And Daniel sent one final message. "I didn't know it would end like this." I replied with the truth. "Neither did I. You just chose not to know." I didn't take the house. I didn't need to. Instead, I signed a lease for a place that belonged only to me. Everything inside it was chosen, paid for, mine. No permission needed, no gratitude expected. I wasn't pushed out, I was released. And the life I built after that didn't echo. The repayment hit her account the day before the house closing. Diane called Daniel in tears, not the controlled kind she used at dinners, but real, ugly sobs. He looked at me, helpless. I simply said, she made her choice. He never asked me to fix it again. Diane moved into a smaller condo. No more marble, no more gold, no more pretending. Daniel watched me pack the last box with something like awe and fear in his eyes. He finally understood. The woman he thought was just a stay-at-home mom had been carrying the entire house on her back, and when she stood up straight, the house fell. Respect isn't automatic, it's earned. And when someone dismisses your work, your invisible labor, your quiet empire, they show you exactly who they are. If you've ever been told you don't work while holding everything together, know this. Your value isn't defined by their words. It's defined by what you build. And sometimes the greatest revenge is simply refusing to carry someone who refuses to see you. If this story gave you that deep, satisfying exhale of finally, smash the like button and tell me in the comments, have you ever been the silent breadwinner in your relationship? What was your breaking point? We read every single one. And subscribe for more Reddit revenge stories where the underestimated finally take back their power. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.